neighborhood store, Rainbow Grocery. In San Francisco. It's an all-vegetarian grocery store supermarket. And today I'm going to show to you the vegan products and produce, vegetables, many different kinds of things that I use and incorporate in my cooking and also in my vegan diet, vegan lifestyle. So I really can't wait to share to you the vegan finds here at Rainbow Grocery that hopefully you can also find at your local supermarket. Sometimes I get emails from people asking me where do I get certain ingredients that I feature during my cooking show. Well, they're available at the Asian aisle of the regular neighborhood supermarket. So here I'm at the Asian aisle of Rainbow Grocery, so feel free to go to the Asian aisle or Asian section of your grocery stores first just to check maybe they have it. So it could probably be convenient for you. But that's on top of visiting Asian stores. If you cannot get fresh coconut milk, of course there's the canned coconut milk, and if you are cooking Asian food, then you probably know what I'm talking about. We always use a lot of Asian or coconut milk in our dishes, so this is great for stews but also for dessert. So whether it's savory or sweet, you can get the now this says light coconut milk. That means it's a little healthier, it's less fatty, but at the same time you're gonna lose that kind of fatty flavor. So just keep that in mind when you're making your desserts. For my bibika, my vegan rice cake, somebody actually recreated it using light coconut milk and it had better texture. I'm not too sure about the fattiness of the flavor, but hey, that's, you know, maybe less fatty flavor is a good thing. Vegans love to use for our cooking will be nuts, a substitute for our dairy. So for example, my favorite will be cashew nuts and almond nuts, and preferably raw. Then soak them at least for 2 hours for you to start cooking with it. What I suggest you use a high-speed blender when you're doing grinding your peanuts or your nuts. And then we also have raw walnuts, for example, and raw pecans. They're great for making raw desserts. As you can see, it's a wide array of different kinds of nuts and grains and beans. You know, a lot of people were always asking me, so what else do we eat, just vegetables? But that's not true, because there are many. For me, I've been vegan for 6 years and I still haven't explored everything that's out there that is vegan. There are also many different kinds of beans that you can use for your stews, especially now here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Here in the US, it's fall season, so it's stew season. It's many different kinds of kidney beans that you can order. I love when it's bulk section because sometimes you cannot, like I said, you only need a little bit sometimes and you're stuck with a whole package if there's no bulk section, so you end up having to buy the whole thing and you're not sure what to do with the rest. So at least with a bulk you can buy high quality products that are usually expensive packaged. You're also not, you know, having to pay for the packaging, the container, the sticker, the labeling. You're skipping pay for all of those. So what you can get is just the product itself that will save you a lot of money. Lentils and mung beans relatively cook faster than other beans because usually beans and nuts, sometimes you have to pre-soak ahead of time. Well, pre-soak, so you have to soak ahead of time. But with lentils and mung beans, you don't have to soak them ahead of time because they cook faster. Filipino food is usually known for always enjoyed with a side of rice. Sometimes it's even reversed where there's more rice than the entree itself. So if you are watching your health, if you are trying to cut back on your sugar, then I highly recommend to replace your rice with quinoa. So we have here, they can go very expensive, but if you're, like I said, if you're gonna do bulk, it will save you a little bit more money. What I usually do is, you always want to rinse ahead of time to make sure it will remove that mild bitterness ahead of time. Olive oil, that's my go-to oil for soups, for especially to replace butter. Same thing with coconut oil, to replace the kind of fattiness to the dish. I use that. Refined if I don't want the coconut flavor, but I do want that fattiness, and unrefined if I do want the rich coconut flavor as well as the fattiness. So they have a wide array of olive oils here. Mushrooms, I love to use mushrooms. In fact, probably I use more mushrooms than tofu in my vegan cooking, because it has many different kinds of texture, not just one kind of mushroom. Variety of mushrooms offer many different things, so I love to use it as my main highlight instead of to replace or veganize those traditional Filipino dishes that I used to have. So there's a shiitake and portobello. They have some packaged stuff as well. And then I love to grill this. This is oyster mushrooms, and we have chef sampler. If you're not sure what to get, a little bit of everything. And I basically grill this and use pretty much veganized isaw. That's great. And also there's this king trumpet oyster mushrooms. They're great to replace scallop dishes, and also the regular white mushrooms, and also the creamy brown mushrooms. So these are relatively cheaper than the other kinds of mushrooms. For my sisig, I also use, this is pretty much what I use, like many different kinds of mushrooms that you can incorporate in your dish. And like I said, it's nice if it's nicely packaged like this, but if you can get away with just getting like sections or a box section like this where you only want to try a little bit, especially if they're super expensive, but you want to try at least what it tastes like, then you can buy. I once went here and only bought 2, for example, of something that's an exotic mushroom just for me to try. So at least I'm not breaking the bank that way. And you'll never see me without any in the kitchen. I always have garlic, onions here, and garlic here, and tomatoes. Those are the 3 main base for my cooking that I love to use. Great aromatics and seasoning. I always want to saute my food. The different kinds of onions. Red onions are sweeter, as you see here, and then white onions are usually spicier, has more zing, so great for salsas, for example. And then the yellow ones is somewhere in the middle, so great for sautés or just basic cooking. If I want to recreate my quote-unquote like seafood dishes, pretty much the dishes that have that ocean flavor, then I always resort to seaweed, the plants of the sea. We have many kinds of sushi nori here. For example, you can use them in recreating tuna sandwiches. Just use that with a little bit of vegan mayo and celery, red onions, salt and pepper, and a little bit of probably apple cider vinegar, and you'll have your tuna sandwich. So over here, there's like a whole, whole section of nori, seaweed. This is great for recreating that ocean flavor. For example, New England clam chowder. Cashew cream from the cashew nuts for your soup, and then for the ocean flavor you include this. So there are many kinds of seaweed too, so it's really not limiting to live a vegan lifestyle, because you also have many kinds of sea plants that you could explore. One thing that is hugely popular here in the US is kale. It's just become so trendy. I don't know why, but I don't know where it came from, because kale has been kale for ever since. Like, it's not a new revelation or a new discovery that there's this green plant. But I'm not mad at that trend actually, because that's how I incorporated more kale into my cooking and into my diet. And if you can grow kale, even better. They're a little harder to maintain because of the insects, but if you just keep a watchful eye, then it's better and cheaper to just grow your own kale. So you always want to buy fruits and vegetables that are in season. Not only it's cheaper, but also it will provide a fresher quality because they are in season in your neighborhood. So for here in San Francisco, it's what's in season right now are apples. So we have many different kinds. Also apples, it's preferable to buy them organic because it's according to the study has the highest amount of pesticides among compared to other kinds of vegetables and fruits. So also some companies put wax to make it look nicer, artificial wax. So you want to make sure that preferably if you're buying apples that are in season, buy organic. Or because they're in season, maybe your family or friends have an apple tree, then you can, those are the best go-to for those. But if you don't have anyone that that has an apple tree that can give you some apples, then I highly suggest to buy it organic. Buy fruits and vegetables that are in season. I also use a lot of tofu in my cooking, and you have to be wary and cautious about bulk tofu at your grocery stores. You want to make sure if they're GMO or non-GMO, sure they're very cheap, like, I don't know, like 4-6 pieces for 85 cents, but you're also might be sacrificing the flavor of your dish as well as your health because you don't know if it's GMO or non-GMO. So I'm just quite spoiled here in the Bay Area because over here they have Soy firm tofu that is bulk section, so that means it's gonna save me a little bit more money. But otherwise, if you're not sure about the quality or the source of the bulk tofu, I just suggest you just go for the package. Sometimes it does happen when you don't have time to cook, or you're busy at work and you're hungry, or you're traveling, or you're invited to visit another place and there are no vegan options out there. So what do you do? So for me personally, I like to stack up on vegan snacks just in case. I highly advocate to cook for yourself, but if you cannot, and there are a lot of instances and occasions where you cannot, then I highly recommend to get, at least you're covered by getting vegan snacks. So they have many different kinds here. Fortunately, here in this grocery store, like for example, my favorite will be the Earth Balance vegan aged white cheddar flavor popcorn. They also have the blue one here. So yeah, it's a little bit of like a junk food, I guess, because it's processed, but at least it's vegan and you're covered if you're starving, or if you're at home but you just don't have time to cook, you're super tired after work, then you have something to grab right away in your pantry. And for a healthier option, if you're not into those flavored vegan buttery flavored popcorn, then they have vegetables here as well that are dried. The edamame veggie snack freeze dried, so much healthier. And they have edamame as well, crunch coated sea salt. One thing that I love, that I always have in my bag, is dark chocolate bars. So my favorite for now, my friend introduced me to this. It has quinoa. It's from Alter Eco, and it's dark quinoa organic chocolate. At first, I was a little skeptical because I wasn't sure. It was actually my friend Janet, Holy Vegan, who gave this to me as a gift, and I thought it was like, I don't know about quinoa and chocolate, but it tasted pretty darn good. It has a light crispy crunch, just like, let's say if you're a big fan before of crunch bars, then this is my favorite. You should try it as well. And then it also says vegan. Sometimes most of the time, always look at the packaging, read the labels and the ingredients list just to make sure if it's vegan or not. And fortunately, there are a lot of considerate companies out there who would say vegan right up front. So this one, the first word says vegan on top. It may be a little small right now, but at least it does say vegan, so that usually helps. Let's see here. This is also my favorite. It's dark chocolate raw, organic, and vegan. So even then one step further, go raw with your chocolate bar. And this is my favorite. It's organic, raw, and vegan, and delicious. So this is Tonic C, 70% cacao chocolate bar. Alright, and you can, it's up to you. I sometimes tend to splurge when it comes to good quality dark chocolate bar. Sometimes it's just, it's a treat, so it's okay to do it every once in a while. And if you have any other tips, thanks for joining for today's tour, for sharing to you my vegan finds and the vegan grocery items that I get at a local neighborhood store such as this at Rainbow Grocery. If you have also tips or vegan items that you would like to share, feel free to leave a comment below. Just let us know, and I'll be happy to hear all about your tips and techniques and vegan products that you'd like to share to us. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.